think one of the biggest reasons why people don't start a business is fear of failure, and this is really sad. In this video, we're going to discuss fear of failure and what it looks like, and how you can overcome it and harness it to help grow your business. Hi, thanks for joining. If you're new to this channel, I'm Rich Dean, a web designer and developer, former web agency owner, and author of the book series Start, Grow and Sell Your Web Design Agency. My goal is to help anyone looking to start, grow and sell an agency to save time, earn more money, avoid the common mistakes and pitfalls, and build a thriving and valuable business. Before we get into what fear of failure looks like, I want to share my experience of fear of failure in the months leading up to when I started my web agency, which was nearly 11 years ago. It was late 2013, and I was working in London for quite a big London agency. I had a comfortable, well-paid job. I managed a team of designers, and we worked for some big brand clients. I'd built quite a successful career, and on paper, I had a CV and a portfolio that many people probably would have envied. But I was also really unhappy. I was under a lot of managerial pressure. I wasn't really doing the kind of work that I enjoyed anymore. And I also spent a large chunk of my day commuting. I didn't live in London, so I had to spend 3 to 4 hours each day commuting on the train on top of my normal working day. This was long before COVID-19 and before working from home had become the normal thing to do. Back then, we had to be in the office every single day, so it was quite exhausting. I was also due to become a dad in early 2014, and so I didn't really want to be bringing all that stress and negativity home to my family and our newborn child. I also didn't want to be an absent dad. I didn't want to have to be leaving for work at 6 or 7 in the morning, getting home at 7 or 8 at night, and then hardly seeing my family or being like a zombie when I did get to spend time with them. I'd always dreamed of starting my own web design agency, and so for me, it felt like the perfect thing to do at the time. And when I looked at it rationally and logically, it all made complete sense. I knew I was good at what I did and that I could design and build the websites for my clients. I knew how web agencies operated and how they needed to be structured. I knew that I had the drive and ambition to make it work. And I knew that it would give me a better work-life balance. I could work from home, I could be as close to my family as I could possibly be, and I could do away with all the commuting. I also knew that I had the potential to earn more money and that starting a business could put us in a much better position financially. But all of that didn't stop me from feeling absolutely terrified of failing. What if I couldn't make it work? What if I didn't get any work and didn't earn any money? What if I couldn't pay our bills? What if giving up my well-paid London job to start my own business was committing career and financial suicide? They say hindsight is 20/20, and so it's easy for me to look back now after knowing that I did make it all work and to say to myself, Rich, you had nothing to worry about, it's all going to be okay. But at the time, fear of failure was real. Just before we look at what fear of failure is though, please don't forget to like and subscribe. We're only a small channel, so this will really help us out. So I think fear of failure can manifest itself in many different ways. And I think it can also be different for each person. It could be the fear of financial failure. I think this is probably the most common one for most people. What if you don't get any work and you can't pay your bills? What if you invest all this time and money into starting a business, but you actually end up worse off than if you hadn't started it in the first place? That can be quite real for a lot of people. It could be fear of social failure. What if you're seen to be a failure by others? What if you make a big fanfare to your family, your friends, your colleagues and your contacts, only to then have to tell them just a few months later that it didn't work out and how embarrassing that could be? It could be fear of personal failure. If you've been dreaming of starting your own business for a long time, it can be scary to think that it might not work out and that it may even be easier just to keep dreaming than to actually make that dream a reality. It could be fear of loss. I think this is also really important for people. If you've worked hard to get where you are in your career, then if you quit your hard-won job to start your own business and it doesn't work out, will you be able to get the same kind of job again? What if you can't? What if you lose everything you've worked hard to achieve and you end up having to go back to a job that is less senior or less well paid? Or it could be fear of the unknown. Not everyone likes change. And in fact, if you've worked in the same job for a long time and you become used to your routine, the thought of change can be really scary. But I don't think that any of these reasons should stop you from starting your own business. If you're experiencing fear of failure, then there are a few things that I'd like you to think about. Firstly, you're not alone. I think everyone who starts a business feels fear of failure. I did when I started my web agency 11 years ago, and to be completely honest with you, I still feel it now. I only recently launched my book series and this YouTube channel, so there's a big part of me that is afraid that nobody will buy my books or watch these videos. The second thing I'd like to think about is that fear of failure isn't a bad thing. It may not feel nice, but it's there for a reason. Fear and anxiety are a normal response. They're a part of being human, and they're a built-in mechanism to help us and to stop us blindly and complacently walking into situations that could do us harm without knowing all the risks. I think the trick is to not let fear of failure be so debilitating that it stops you moving forward. I think the trick is to understand it. If you can understand why you're feeling this way and what your mind and body are trying to tell you, then you can harness that and channel it to put in place plans and strategies to reduce any risk and to better prepare and protect yourself and your business. For example, if you're afraid of financial failure, then you could do things like saving up a buffer so that you have enough money in your bank to pay your bills if the worst does happen and you don't get any work. If you can save at least 3 to 6 months, then this will give you enough time to work on getting more work in, or failing that, if that doesn't work out, it will still give you time to fall back to a plan B or C or D, even if that means going back to paid employment. It may not be the best case, but at least if you have that financial buffer in place, you'll have that safety net. If you can put in place strategies to market and promote your business, then this can also help you to generate a healthy pipeline of work and reduce the risk of you not having enough work. It's about having the confidence to know what to do to protect yourself. If you're afraid of social failure and what other people may think, then it could be worth speaking with the people that you really care about and explaining to them why you're doing what you're doing and why starting a business is important to you. If they really care about you, then they should understand and support you. If you're afraid of personal failure, then that's okay. But I think by not starting your business, you're also kind of failing. So for me, when I was starting my web agency, as much as I was afraid, and even when there were times when I questioned whether starting a business was the right thing to do, I also reminded myself that I would always be disappointed with myself if I didn't try. I didn't want to get to old age and look back on my life and be disappointed because I didn't try to make it work and because I then spent the rest of my life unhappy working for someone else. If you're afraid of losing a hard-won job, then that's also understandable, but there will always be other jobs out there. And if anything, I think the skills and experience you can gain from running your own business, even if it doesn't work out, they can still be valuable and they'll probably make you more attractive to potential employers. If you're afraid of change and losing your usual routine, then this is understandable too. But one of the best things about starting your own business is that you'll be able to create a completely new routine. And because it will be your business, you can shape it however you like. So overall, I know personally how difficult fear of failure can be, but also don't think it should ever be a reason for not doing something, especially if it comes to starting your own business. I think fear of failure can actually be a powerful tool to help us be more focused on our businesses and to give us a better chance of success. If you like the content of this video, then please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it will really help us out. I also discuss this and many other topics in my book series, Start, Grow and Sell Your Web Design Agency, and you can purchase that on Amazon. I'll share the links in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.